Coming up, Microsoft has discontinued all the Xbox One consoles. They're gone, Court. It's dead. The Xbox Ones are dead, and we're actually kind of excited about it. So let's talk about that and a few more things coming up on the show right now. Everybody, welcome to Xbox, eh? I'm Matt. It's Court.
Court.
Yeah, there you are. You big man on the throne.
Wow.
Let's talk about Xbox. Big man.
Xbox One, the TV console.
Ones. I had the Xbox One. I had the VCR. I didn't enjoy it.
I had the white version. I bought it for Sunset Overdrive. And then I remember trying to download the update when I had the actual disc for Halo Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
And I remember something along the lines that took like 3 to 4 hours. I was like, oh my God. I don't know what it was, but the download speeds on that console was so bad. I remember in all the updates, like every time I turned it on, there was a new update. It was the console that didn't get turned on very much. And then I had a friend over one time, like years after, it was like, hey, do you use that? I'm like, no. So can I buy it off you? I'm like, yes, you can. You can 100% buy that off me. And I sold it. Like, I just didn't use it. It was...
Yeah.
You know what? It was the console ahead before its time. Because when you think about some of the features that they were trying to do of having us online and trying to integrate it into the streaming services that we all do now, and we've all cut the cable, it was before its time. I think the move part, integrating it and making it a must was a bit much, and that was also annoying to me. I hated having to have the camera for no reason.
Same.
When they had the update and you could disconnect it, it was a happy day for me. It just was annoying. I didn't need it. It wasn't a feature I used. I wasn't one of those people that I had a Wii, but it wasn't like the thing I used all the time. Yeah, it wasn't my thing, right? Some people like it, some people don't. I wasn't. So just picture the Xbox is now the Titanic, the Xbox One, and it's hit an iceberg, and that's 2022, and it's going to sink now because they're not making it anymore.
No, and then PlayStation's turning around, right? And they're like, you know what we want to do? We need some PS4s out there, get people all tickled. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about this, though, the Verge article here. Microsoft stopped manufacturing all Xbox One consoles. Yes, you can still go buy them or use them, but they're discontinued. So whatever's out there, you can get it if you want to get it. I wouldn't really recommend it because the Series S is the way to go if you are in that market and shopping for something. The software giant originally discontinued the Xbox One X and digital Xbox One S ahead of the Series X launch. Seriously, like with Xbox, man, like we got to get some names. Like Phil Spencer's got to turn around and be like,
they suck, eh?
It's just one X. Anyways, then quietly stopped manufacturing the Xbox One S at the end of 2020, leaving retailers to sell out their remaining stock. Quote, to focus on production of the Series X and S, we stopped production of all Xbox One consoles by the end of 2020. This is coming from Cindy Walker, the Senior Director of Xbox Console Product Marketing, to The Verge. Microsoft's confirmation comes just as Bloomberg report suggested Sony had planned to end PS4 production at the end of 2021. But the company will now manufacture around 1 million PS4 consoles in 2022. Sony has confirmed PS4 production is still ongoing amid struggles by both Microsoft and Sony to meet demand for their latest Xbox Series X and the PS5 consoles. So yeah, and the last thing on The Verge here is just that Microsoft seems to be able to meet the demand for the $299 Series S, though. At the time of publishing, the Series S is in stock at Amazon and so forth. So, and it's still hard to get X. It's $299 in the US for the Series S. It's $329 here in Canada.
I'll double check. It's available. I could buy one right now.
My question is, what's the PS4? What does that cost?
So the S is sold out on Amazon right now.
All right.
That's the first time I have ever looked, and it is sold out. Wow. So a PlayStation 5 is more expensive than an Xbox Series X in Canada.
Yep.
It's also extremely hard to get, and so is an Xbox Series X. But the S seems to be readily available. That's actually the first time checking. Best Buy doesn't have it either, so wow. Seems to be selling out everywhere. But I remember when they launched the S, it was the why do we need this console?
Yeah.
And I think even without the pandemic, it would still would be needed because it's that entry point. It's that that tweet Maybe you could pull it up and put it on video after the tweet that Microsoft put out the other day of like, hey, ponies, if you want to change your name on the Xbox Live account, here's how you do it. You get one-time change. And I know that was definitely a shot at Sony players, like 100%.
Yep.
Because I know a ton of people that had PlayStation 4s or even who had PlayStation 5s got an Xbox Series S for Christmas. Like a ton of people. Or if their kids were like, I need a console. And I was like, just get them an S. And I would give them the sales pitch on why. It's the console that you can play next-gen games. Like for the people that were in our comments when we did the Xbox One X versus the S, when a game like Scorn or Forza Motorsport 7, those are next-gen game only.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be able to be played on your Xbox One X. You can't play them. You can only play them on an X or an S. Unless they have cloud availability on Game Pass. So, which you can do with your One X, but I can understand Microsoft moving away and putting all production behind the X and the S. It just makes sense. They're both selling extremely well. The marketing and the buzz behind Xbox has never been better. They reportedly sold 12 million consoles between the two X and the S. And PlayStation's trying to catch up now because they're about to launch their own streaming service and they don't have enough consoles out there to get that user base. Every time an S sells, I guarantee you it comes with a subscription to Game Pass. That person's getting Game Pass.
100%. They're getting the 3 or 6 month or a year if they do the financing program, the all access program through Xbox. Yep. Even for that, I understand it's a little bit more expensive. You are getting 2 years worth of Game Pass, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's 900 Canadian all in for the X.
The X.
And it comes with Game Pass. I can't do it. Doesn't make sense to me.
But it does get people in there. On the Sony side, I kind of I feel like everybody that wanted a PS4 has a PS4. There are millions,
yes.
It outsold everything on Xbox. It was my main machine all last gen. I feel like everyone has a PS4. I understand they need production, they need to get something out on the shelves from Sony's side. But even if they have their streaming service, what's it going to do? Because everyone's got a last-gen console, like playing all the last-gen games.
Yeah, but Sony has a, and this is, I'm not taking a shot here because I don't want people, it's just their system, they don't have the smart delivery. So all their games coming out, originally they said they were only going to be next-gen, but we know Horizon and we know God of War are going to have a PS4 version. So if they're bringing out their streaming service, we all know Sony, if they're going to give you a next-gen version, they're going to make you pay for it. So what's going to be on that streaming service? It's going to be the last-gen versions. There's going to be no glow-ups. There's going to be no nothing. It's going to be, hey, you want to play old Uncharted? You get the old Uncharted.
Yeah.
Like you get the play. You're not going to get the new Uncharted collection that they're selling on PS5. No. They're not giving you that. They're going to give you, the one that they brought out on PS4. Which is still just as good when they gave it a little glow up there. They'll give you that. They will give you Infamous, but they're not going to give you an HD remaster. 4K Infamous. Yeah. They're not giving you that. They're just, no smart delivery. That's not happening. There's no 120 frames boost on their games as of right now. That's not to say they won't do it in the future, but I can't see Sony doing that because they've shown us time and time again that they want you to spend that extra $10 for that little boost, like Ghost of Tsushima. They were like, hey, you can buy the DLC, but if you want that FPS boost, I want $10.
And I think that's one of the big differences. It's going to be really curious to see what Sony does with this Spartacus, because I just feel like you're going to announce this thing, and maybe you are going to put, brand new first-party PS5 titles day and date. Maybe they are. Like, we don't know. They might turn around and say, we have an ultimate. We have an ultimate tier of PS Plus Ultimate, and you're gonna get Horizon day one in February. Like, I don't know. Maybe they will do the next Last of Us Naughty Dog title on their day one at a premium ultra $150 a year. Like,
they could do what Disney Plus does, where they do hey, you can, if you want premium access. So if you want to play Horizon, but you are already part of our subscription service, it's going to be $30.
There you go.
But you're going to have to give us $30
premium
to buy
on
the game.
top of it to play it now.
Correct. And that, you know what? That's not bad value. That's still giving your player and your player base value. I know people will go out there and dunk on me for doing that, but Sony doesn't have the assets and the Scrooge McDuck money that Microsoft does. And then they do make some phenomenal first-party games like Horizon and like God of War. God of War is the best game in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. It's my favorite by far. And Ghost of Tsushima is up there too. So if they do something like that, I think that's a great value, and it's giving you something. And that's didn't even think of it until just right now.
And I know that the both manufacturers, like they can't predict the pandemic, and they've got to pivot and deal with, you know, issues with chip shortages, and it is what it is. And the Series S, we've known, costs less, or it takes different parts and all of that. It's easier to manufacture at scale and get it out there. And I'm sure the PS4 is as well, or they have so many units still sitting in inventory that they can just turn back on and ship out again. I just feel like when it comes to the Xbox One being discontinued, sure, it's bye-bye, it's old. I'm surprised it still wasn't, because we've had the One X, the One S.
Well, also with Xbox's backward compat program, it don't matter. Like, the only ones that people are freaking out about are Xbox 360 games, right? Those are the ones where people are spending $200 and because they want to keep it and play it.
Yeah, you want licensed games. You want the Spider-Man games, the licensed Spider-Man games on Activision. You got to go and get an old 360.
If you're Xbox, bring me a 360. Make a classic 360 out of nowhere. Make it $100. Drop it and be like, you can go play all your old Xbox 360 games on it. Like, that's something I guarantee you. This sounds crazy. It would sell.
That's like that's like a Nintendo launching a mini, when you're like, really? And they're like, yeah, you get 20 games or 40 games.
But yeah, we're getting no games with this, because they're saying you'll get Game Pass with this. You'll buy it for $100. Game Pass will still work. But you're only getting Xbox 360 and Xbox One games are only going to work on it, because we know, unless you want to play cloud. But like, all those games will work, and you can go out and buy all those licensed games like Web of Shadows, Spider-Man on an Xbox 360 cartridge. It will work on this console.
And all they have to do is, because I know the 360 had an HDMI, the updated one, like
the
Slim.
The Elite.
All they got to do is just make sure that the components are good for this current gen. Oh man, I love that idea, seriously. And people be like, go get a 360, just go to GameStop and buy a 360. I'm like, yeah, but do you know people go out and buy an N64 or a Super Nintendo, but everyone went crazy at Christmas time for the minis. You didn't need it. We all bought Mario again and again and again. I'm with you.
I got a Super NES Mini in front of me right now.
Yeah, I would drop $100 easy on a revitalized 360. It does nothing different. It's literally the same machine. Here's 3 months of Game Pass.
And you can go out and get, and like, I can just go out and buy Web of Shadows. Oh, dude. And I guarantee you, the used market on old Xbox 360 games would go through the roof.
Yeah, because you can see them online.
Because that gets around the backwards compat. They can't be played on the Xbox One X, the Series X. But this is just an Xbox 360.
I love that. That's a pitch to Phil Spencer. Let us know in the comments below, though, guys. What do you think about the Xbox One, the big VCR, TV court? It's over. It's dead. It's gone. Yeah. TV no more. Now it's all Series S. PS4.
X gonna give it to you.
X is giving it to us real hard, real fast. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.